All right, folks, it's another Sunday, and that's right. That means it's another Sunday live start sit show on the Razzball Fantasy YouTube channel. I'm your host, Bobby Lamarca. I'm bringing in my two right-hand men today, Matthew Styles. You can follow him at Styles08 on Twitter, and Derek Favorite on Twitter. Gentlemen, start with you, Matt. How's it going this morning?
Well, I think I'm a little bit better than you. We won't get into specifics, but yeah, I'm hanging in there.
Matt, I took a shit, people. I don't care. I took a shit pre-show. Matt wants to pretend like we don't say whatever the hell we want on this show. I took a shit, folks. That's why we're 5 minutes late.
Well, here we go. I guess it's all uphill from here.
You can't get much lower than talking about taking a shit on camera. So you're right. It is all up here. Derek, what's going on, man?
Doing well. Last week of the regular season for the fantasy leagues, for most leagues. So a lot of teams are putting up or going home watching the playoffs.
So, Derek, first off, let me ask you, how many leagues are you in, first question? And the second part of that, how many are you in already in the playoffs, or how many of those do you have, like, you have to win and in or lose or whatever? What's the synopsis?
Yeah, 3 leagues for me, all 3 already in the playoffs. In fact, all 3 are essentially already locked in. I can if I do lose today in my home league, I could drop to 4th, but pretty much locked into 3rd in 2 leagues, and one of them that Matt and I share, and the other one that we share, we locked into 2nd. So
nice.
So really not playing for a lot today. I'm going to be actually spending my time on DFS.
Okay.
Since I'm not too worried about the regular the season-long leagues today.
Very nice. Matt, same thing?
4 leagues, Razzball, I'm just hanging on by a thread, 35 out of 36 and well below the cut line. I have another best ball that Derek and I are in. We're both abysmal. We won't even talk about it. That one had no ads, no trades, no nothing. So both terrible teams, but it all because we weren't prepped ready early on going into the draft. And then
well, let's not say that, but yeah, you notice I didn't even mention the best ball.
It's pretty horrendous for both of us. And then the 2 leagues that Derek talked about, we're locked into 3rd and 1, and we are we're locked into 2nd.
Yeah,
we don't. In fact, the league that we're locked into 3rd, we're going with 2 bye week positions where our defense and flex, because it doesn't matter. We can get blown out or we can win by 1,000. It's not going to matter.
Yeah, everyone on our bench is on bye, so
yeah.
plus two starters. So we're just prepping for the playoffs on that one.
But it worked out, right? We drafted, and that's a scary proposition, but we're locked in, so it actually worked out in our favor. We will try not to do that in future years.
I actually, ironically, am in the opposite position. I'm in a must-win, and I have like 4 starters out on bye, and I'm like Tony Jones in it today, folks. Super stoked. Can't wait for that experience. You won't hear from me for probably 3 to 5 days when he goes like 5 carries for 12 yards, but we'll be all right. Let's get into the questions, folks. We have some questions today. I got to take this off for a second. There we go. Let's get into the questions. First of all, Sky Gawasko will be joining us shortly. He decides that he can just make his own hours. I don't even know who this. I honestly, at this point, I'm done with fines. There's got to be harsher penalties. I'm tired of your money is not good here anymore. I need like harsher penalties. I want him just like a nice audio apology. I want to see that remorse on his face.
What about make him do the first 10 minutes shirtless?
Okay, first of all, I'm not trying to fine us. Okay, we're not trying to get fined today. Okay, so let's just keep it PG, Matthew. All right, let's get into this. All right, Lindorphins. By the way, Lindorphins, man, he's been popping on the last couple of days. Joined us for a couple additional shows earlier this week. We appreciate you as always. It's a great question. Leonard Fournette is going to be active today. We'll get through the injuries in just a minute, but we want to get through these questions first. Leonard Fournette is expected to play. Do you still play Rachaad White over Deontay Johnson in a flex in half PPR? Derek, let's get down to you first.
I am, and it's really more a testament to how little I care for Deontay at this point than the Fournette White situation. But Rachaad, he's going to get some catches out of the backfield. It's not a great matchup for him against the Niners. They're pretty tough against running backs, but I expect him to get the majority of the workload, even with Fournette. And especially, he's shown that he can catch the ball out of the backfield. We know Fournette can as well. But I still like Rachaad White over Deontay here, half PPR.
Matt?
I'm saying, but I love Deontay Johnson. I'm looking at the Pittsburgh against Baltimore. Those games usually are pretty ugly. So I'm going to stick with Rachaad White, and I don't think Lenny makes it through the whole game the way he looked last week. I mean, he had, I think, one or two runs where he had a good burst, and maybe one of those was a drop off pass. But other than that, he looked really slow. So I'm going to pass on Deontay in favor of White.
And he's still looking for his first touchdown. Deontay is, and like you said, Matt, these games tend to be 9-6, 12-6, 12-9, 15-12. So the likelihood that he's going to get that today is not very high in my book.
So I mean, the thing is that Rachaad White's playing San Francisco. I think it doesn't get much worse than that on the road against the 49ers. That doesn't give you guys any hesitancy here. Like, he's going to be potentially splitting work. I mean, he only played 41% of the snaps last week, Rachaad White, with a healthy Fournette. But
do we really think Todd Bowles is a moron?
Okay, good. I do think this is a more the Ravens defense is getting healthier, right? They are getting better throughout the year, but they're still pretty vulnerable to outside receivers. I'm gonna go. I think shit.
I see Brady throwing 52 passes today because they're already resigned to the fact that they're not going to be able to run. So they've probably already quit the run before it's warm-ups with Todd Bowles and Leftwich. So Brady's just going to say, I can win this game, but you're going to have to put the ball in my hands. And even though it's a half-point PPR, whatever running happens, it's going to be White, and he's going to probably have 9 or 10 targets out of the backfield.
Oh man,
and I'll take that even a step further. With the Bucs, they're going to be locked into that fourth conference winner position in the playoffs. Probably even with a losing record, maybe even 500. But they've got to show that they can play in the playoffs. They got to show who are the players that are going to take us into the playoffs and actually win a game. That team has been so. I won't even say up and down. They just don't have a consistency. And at this point, it's in a very poor division. They're going to make the playoffs most likely. They got to find out who is going to be their stalwarts, who can they count on. And White's been coming on, and I just see his trajectory going up. Game script is not great for him, but I have to believe that a Tom Brady-led team, even though he's not who he used to be, he knows how to play. He's a smart player. He's going to go with the guys who he trusts, who can get him there, and they got to get ready for the playoffs at this point. So I just see White's workload moving up, even with a mostly healthy Leonard Fournette there. I think White's is the more dynamic player, and they've just got to get him comfortable in that offense or ready for the playoffs.
I'm probably gonna I get everything you guys are saying. You're probably right. He's gonna be a 50-50 guy probably in this game. Unless and then the 49ers are that's the matchup. That's probably the toughest matchup for running backs. So I don't think unless he scores a touchdown, you're probably gonna get similar to what he did in New Orleans last week, which was fine because he scored, but he had 9 carries for 30 yards. I'm gonna go Deontay. I think this is the other problem, right? You got Brock Purdy on one side, San Francisco, and then you have Huntley for the Ravens. So you're right. Either game could be ugly. But I'm just going to go with the numbers on this one. I'm going to go Deontay. I think he's going to be all right. Probably going to be wrong on that one. That's okay, though.
Well, all right, moving on. It's your classic. That's the question, right? That's the ones I don't like. The accountability questions. I'm the biggest Deontay Johnson homer that you'll find. I love the guy. I think he's great. But again, Derek said it. No touchdowns this year. They've been really dysfunctional without Roethlisberger throwing him 7,000 passes, over the course of the season. But I think that for us, we each pick our guy, but I think that Lindorfin's probably goes with his gut. Wherever he was leaning, that's where he should go.
Yeah, I think the problem is too, I don't really see the scenario where Tyler Huntley goes bananas or Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy's he looked nice last week, 200 yards, got it done, but I just don't see. I think that kind of impacts both these guys because if it's not like you can see a scenario where Brock Purdy against Tampa Bay probably drops 30 on him. He might be okay, but I think that both the opposite offenses are going to be dealing with backup quarterbacks, which is going to impact the overall upside for the other team's offense. And I think, Deontay hasn't been good all year, but it's just like, I don't know. He got 11 targets last week. So I think that, 5 for 60. I mean, well, 2 weeks ago. Sorry, they were on bye last week. Oh no, week 13. Sorry. 5 for 60 last week, 11 targets. So I think I'll take it. I'm gonna go Deontay. But I think that this one, you guys make valid points. I think Leonard Fournette. The problem with me, though, with that comment, though, Leonard Fournette's the guy, the trusted guy, the veteran guy. He's the vet. He was there for the Super Bowl. So you can make the same exact argument for Fournette getting extra work because he's the vet. But you're right. Rachaad White's the hot hand. He did get like 8 targets last week. He's probably the better bet if you want upside. But I'm going to probably take Deontay in this one.
Yeah, and speaking of upside, just put a cap on this discussion. These 2 games are the lowest scoring games, in the Vegas line on the whole slate. So, yeah, exactly. So, unfortunately for Lindor, if this is your choice, you probably can't really make a mistake going in. Is probably the summary of what you're hearing today, because both players have a floor in a half PPR, probably 5 or 6 points for both of them. Do you need a stable return there, or are you playing for a little bit of upside? Might be the way to go.
All right, listen, good first one, Lindorfers, and I'm already fuzzy. Look, the camera is already just losing its mind. I'm losing it. We're fuzzy now. Everything's fuzzy. Good first question, Brian. Good morning, sir. We appreciate for jumping on again, man. Love having you on. Always a pleasure, sir. Jumping down to his first question of the day, half PPR. I have Singletary, James Cook, and then he has Knight. So you have that Jets. By the way, the Jets-Bills game could have some weather. That could be impacted a little bit there. But, guys, we have this same exact game with Michael Carter set to return. Are you going to lean to one of these Bills running backs or go with Knight? Let's go to you, Matt, first.
Thanks for nothing, right? I think I put Singletary at the bottom because I think Cook is trending up, but I really want to play Knight, and I think the Buffalo defense is overrated, especially with Von Miller out. And not overrated, but overrated based on where they were to start the season. So for me, I probably go Knight with Cook 1A, followed by Singletary at 2.
Derek?
Yeah, you look at these defenses, and especially defense against running backs, and they're almost identical. I mean, this is tough sled either way. But Bobby, you hit on it for me. Michael Carter's back in the fold, which cuts into Knight's carries and snaps. Same on the other side. I really wish the Bills gave more of their work to Cook rather than Singletary. They just haven't done that, and they certainly haven't done that consistently. I think Cook is the better running back there, and certainly if the weather's in play, he's the better play overall. But I'm going on the Bills side rather than Knight on the Jets side again, because Carter's out there. So I'm definitely playing one of the Bills. It's just a matter of which one.
Yeah,
Singletary or Cook, and to me, I'm going to lean Singletary just because of the workload. But I really wish I could say Cook was the better play, or I had more confidence that the Bills were going to play him more. But I'm going to go Singletary.
And that's probably really my answer, right? I wish it was Cook, but the right answer is probably Singletary. I'm going more off of what I would like to see, so I have to temper my answers a little bit. I think that you're right. Singletary, based on he's the starter, he probably gets more, followed by Cook with Knight third. And again, we don't know, is Michael Carter a full participant? Is he out in the cold going to take a hit that causes him to miss time? I don't know, but I love the Zonovan Knight story, but you're probably right. Singletary, followed by Cook, followed by Knight.
Yeah, I think I would definitely. Unfortunately, these are the tough questions we have to answer every week. We honestly don't know. We're not insiders with the Jets. We don't know what the split's going to be with Knight and Carter. Knight's looked pretty good, but Carter should still be the lead guy. But this is not. Yes, and one of the things that I noticed too is, yes, Von Miller will be out, but also Phillips, one of their top defensive tackles, is out today. That is a slight bump for those Jets running backs. But I'm going to go Buffalo, and I'm going to go James Cook. Listen, last week he had 6 targets in that game as well. 14 carries to 13 for Singletary. And does that have to do with the fact that they kind of, ran away with it a little bit towards the end against the New England Patriots? Patriots could do shit last week. That could be it. Could this be a more competitive game? I'm just going to go with James Cook. He's got a little more juice. Why not? If they're going to get pretty close to a 50-50 split, give me the young kid who's going to be juiced. But Singletary is probably your safest bet of all these 3. But I'm going to go with a little more juice with Cook.
They did have even splits and snaps last week, 32 apiece. But that was the most workload that Cook's had all year. He usually, the last 5 games before that, he's been in the teens, anywhere between 13 to 16 snaps per game. Last week he had 32, same with Singletary. And ironically, last time they played the Jets, it was 45 snaps to Singletary, 14 to Cook. So, there is some thought that, they're going to mix it up, give the Jets a different look than they saw last time. Again, Cook is trending up. So, you could convince me that he might be the right play, but it is going to be a coin flip. We just don't know.
Here's an interesting nugget. And I just looked this up because I was curious. First 3 quarters last week, 14 carries for Cook, 8 for Singletary. You add in that 4th quarter, they gave all the work to Singletary to close out that game. I find that pretty interesting. I actually, when I was looking this up, I was like, all right, it's probably going to be like the opposite. I thought maybe Singletary got the work early and then Cook caught up because it was maybe a blow up. But that finds it interesting. It was 14-8 in quarters 1 through 3 last week. So could be something there. I'm going to go Cook, but I totally understand Singletary is probably the safer bet of the 2. I totally get that. All right, Isaac, let's talk about this one here. Isaac, always a pleasure. Listen, I appreciate the consistency. Not only is Derek and Matt become linchpins of the show, but our followers as well, guys. I appreciate you coming on, Isaac, man. Honestly, always a pleasure. Full PPR pick 2. By the way, look at that. Full PPR, clean cut with the colons and commas, separate everything. God bless you, sir. Keeping things easy for me at 8:23 in the morning. God, that's why I love you. He's got Foreman, who's probably one of the hotter names of the week, playing against Seattle. Deontay Johnson, a player we just talked about. Travis Homer and DJ Chark of these guys. DJ Chark has an interesting matchup with the Vikings. Travis Homer could be in line for a lot more work if DJ Dallas is out because Kenneth Walker looks doubtful. Let's kick it over to you, Matt, first. What's your thoughts? Pick 2, full PPR.
Yep, so we've already kind of been over Deontay Johnson. I won't touch on him. He's 3rd in this list for me. Travis Homer is Travis Homer. So I'm not starting him unless I absolutely have no other options. He's 4th on the list. So I like Foreman as the workhorse back in a game where the Seahawks simply cannot stop the run. Go back and look at what Josh Jacobs did to them a couple of weeks ago. And I like DJ Chark in a game where Jared Goff is going to be throwing the ball all day.
Breaking news.
Go ahead. This is super easy for me.
Breaking news, DJ Dallas is officially out along with Kenneth Walker. So I just saw that come in, so I apologize. I'm assuming that does not change your thought process, Matt?
If anything, maybe it moves Homer in front of Johnson, but not. I don't think it does for me. Travis Homer is Travis Homer. So, I mean, let's figure that out real quick. And Foreman can handle the load. That's there's no doubt. He's shown it. He's got touchdowns. He's got yards. He can carry the load. Travis Homer has proved nothing. Now he is playing against a terrible Carolina defense, but still, I like Chark on the receiving end of what I think, and Derek will probably confirm that's going to be a high over-under game out of Vegas. And so I take Chark and Foreman. In fact, I told Derek I wish we had room for Chark in our lineup, but we don't. Maybe with Zonovan Knight if he loses a whole bunch of carries, but he's a guy you need to add, right, and starting this week.
DFS, man. I love Chark too, but go ahead.
I'm going to go look and make sure we don't have room for him right now while Derek's answering.
Yeah, no, I love this question because it highlights 2 of the guys that are my must starts this week. First one is DJ Chark. The Vikings are the worst in the NFL for points per game to wideouts. And DJ Chark, 100% of his PPR scoring is from the wideout position. I mean, he is just lined up for a huge game today. Heck, the Lions are favored against the 10-2 Vikings. how can that happen? But they're
Oh,
favored,
man.
like 2.5 point favorites
That's
against the Vikings. And if that's going to play out the way we expect, or the experts expect it to, then Chark's going to have a big game. So he's definitely a play for me, and I like Foreman as well. His snap count, he's about three for every two that Hubbard gets, so he's going to get the main workload there. Probably get a short rushing touchdown as well as his maybe 60, 70 yards rushing and a touchdown. That's a easy play for me. So yeah, I like Deonta Foreman and DJ Chark here.
And for argument's sake, Chark was picked up in our league. Homer is still available. That should go a little bit in helping Isaac make his decision. Chark is viewed as the better player right now.
I think it, and honestly too, I think this is actually I want to say first off, this is why you play that waiver wire a little bit, because a lot of these guys are probably been picked up through the course of the year. You position yourself in a great spot. I think Foreman and Chark are very solid plays this week. I think these guys, this is a very easy question in the sense of like you positioned yourself, Isaac, to get these guys off the waiver wire. We just talked about this. If you go to our slot versus wide tool, Minnesota gets crushed by perimeter wide receivers. So Chark is a slam dunk. That's why these guys love him a lot. He's in for me. And then Deonta Foreman, he's one of, I understand the situation in Carolina has kind of been up and down, but Sam Darnold has looked decent, and they have given Foreman the workload. And he's got Seattle, who he can easily beat. If you go to our adjusted line yards matchup metric, it's a very good matchup. So I think you have two really good options here, and with Foreman and DJ Chark. So we do appreciate the question. Very good. All right. Detox, what's up, man? Honestly, appreciate you. Love the shades. Keeping things cool first thing in the morning. Morning, sir. How you doing? Happy Sunday to you, too. He needs the W to make the playoffs and my cousin to lose. I hear you on these. Hopefully, Kelsey doesn't lay another egg today. Very rarely. Honestly, Travis Kelsey very rarely lays an egg and usually follows up with a stud matchup right there. Ryan H., what two wide receivers in a standard format, no PPR, fellas, are you going to start? We have Kirk, Ayuk, Metcalf, and Keenan Allen. He's also playing T-Law today with a bum foot with no Lamar Jackson. What you guys thought there? Kicking on you first.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely not playing Ayuk. Again, we've got the new quarterback there. We're not really sure, what we're going to get from him. And the Bucs are pretty good against limiting wide receivers. So I'm definitely not playing Ayuk. Metcalf in that lineup, he's a definite play for me. The Panthers are giving up almost 25 points per game to wideouts, which is where Metcalf lives. So I'm definitely going there. Now, as far as Allen or Kirk, I've got them both pretty equal, to be honest with you. I like the offense better this week with the Chargers. So for that reason, I'm going Allen, but it's close with Kirk.
Matthew?
Yeah, I'm going to go exactly what Derek said until the very end, and I'm going to go Kirk only because, right, they're probably, 17 and 18 on your list, or 14, 15, whatever they may be. I'm going to go Kirk because he's starting Trevor Lawrence. Give me the double dip points because I think that's fun and cool, and I might be slightly hungover, and that seems like a fun thing to do today.
Nice. Why are you hungover? We don't do hangover podcasts. You start drinking, young man. You get yourself into a nice buzz, all right? I set that precedent last week. Anyway, Ryan, I am actually going to go with Kirk and Metcalf as well. I think all these guys are really good starts, but I think you go in Christian Kirk. That Titans defense is very banged up. They're going to be down Kristen Fulton, one of their top outside cornerbacks as well, even though Kirk plays a lot in the inside. Titans get crushed in the slot. And Metcalf, listen, I think the injuries to the running back position made this a little bit simpler. I think they're going to have to lean on Geno in that pass game a little bit more. I think you're going to see some good game from Metcalf. And probably the Carolina Panthers have been a little banged up in the secondary all year, but I think you got a slam dunk with those two for this week. All right. NSB 7F. Love it. Must be a gamer tag. Not sure what's going on. Pick one PPR. Appreciate you for joining the show today. Jeff Wilson or James Conner? Let's go, Derek. Down to you first, man.
Yeah, I do like Wilson. I've got him in on my home league. We talked about that a little bit before. I don't need him to go off this week, but I want him to get well for the playoffs. The matchup is okay with him, not great. He is going to be sharing some time with Mostert. So, but in this case, it's a volume play for me, even though the Patriots are really good at stopping running backs. They are a little bit vulnerable for running backs out of the backfield catching some passes. And Connor is just going to be the volume play. I think his snap count was like 90% last week. So he's of all the running backs today, he's probably the only one, or the one where you would lock in and say, this is the guy getting all the work. It's not a great matchup on Monday Night Football, but he does catch the balls out of the backfield. And if there's going to be a rushing touchdown, most likely it's going to be Connor. So in this case, I'm going Connor. Just again, volume.
Matt.
So can we be happy that Sky's not on here to talk about Jeff Wilson? Like,
Yes.
we need to get past this question really quick, and hopefully
100%.
he doesn't scan back through to cherry pick the Jeff Wilson questions. Derek convinced me. I wanted to go Jeff Wilson because he only had the one touch last week, so they have to write that. They have to. There should be some correction in there, but I think you're right. I think Connor, as much as he's been just absolutely abysmal based on his ADP, I think he's the right choice for volume, and we preach volume on the show, so that's what I'm going to go with, James Conner as well.
Yeah, I don't think you can honestly confidently take Jeff Wilson in this scenario. One carry last week. You just can't. Don't even risk it. James Conner has a very unique role. And listen, early on in the season, he was a bust. Forget it. Like the last few weeks, he had 25 carries for 120 yards last time he played. Like this guy you have to forget the season. If you just look at the last month, he had 21, 14, and 25 carries, scored 3 touchdowns in that time frame. He's also getting, 3 to 5 targets. This guy is an elite usage player. He's a locked and loaded RB2 for me rest of season. You got to get him in your lineups until that Miami Dolphins defense, you get more consistent clarity. I'm not going to ride that roller coaster if I don't have to. So I'm going to go James Conner. Official Savage, good morning, sir. He's got a few weeks. Go Lions. By the way, Official Savage, if you're a Lions fan, you got to be riding high. I mean, the Lions, me and Scott were talking about the Lions defense as a streamer this week, sober, by the way, on a Friday evening. And we're still thinking that. So we're all in on the Lions. We love them a lot. Doing great here. And Matt, I know the Packers are on a bye this week. So how you feeling? Are you worried about the Lions? You sweating them a little bit long term?
No, I play all the Lions. I play all the Jets. Like I wrote in my waiver wire article, Mike White, you can start for the rest of the year. Right? I think you could start Jared Goff for the rest of the year. These are quarterbacks that are going to throw the football. They're going to put up points. As long as your league does not penalize -2 or more for an interception, start Goff, start Mike White, and just watch the volume, right? Remember at the beginning of the year, Flacco was averaging 52 attempts a game, I think. And I think we're going to see numbers approaching that for Mike White. But yes, go Lions. I'm fine with it, right? It's kind of like the poverty franchise that is the Florida Panthers, as I'm a Lightning fan in hockey. It's cool, right? Little brother gets good every once in a while, but then you just got to slap them, put them back into their place. So Green Bay will do what they have to do against the Lions. They'll set the record straight. But for now, sure, they're fun. Everybody enjoy the Lions. Especially, all right. By the way, I think we determined it's Savage.
Right. You're right. Sorry, it's French. Anyway, let's get this going. All right. So Official Savage, appreciate you as always. Derek, kicking out. Che Okongwu, by the way, Titans number 2 tight end technically, but he saw an expanded role last week. He's kind of like this. He's basically a wide receiver playing the tight end position for the Tennessee Titans. No Treylon Burks today. Could open up more 2 tight end sets for that Titans offense. That's why Okongwu could be in the fantasy radar this week in his matchup against Jacksonville. But then you have Trey McBride going on Monday nights. Hasn't really showed out just yet in his role playing against New England Patriots, who have been kind of streaky against tight ends as well. Derek, thoughts? Who are you going to start this week in a must win?
Yeah, I agree. There's, you mentioned the double tight end sets for Tennessee. That looks like something that they've been working with the last few weeks between Swaim, Hooper, and Okonkwo. I mean, between the 3 of them, 20 snaps for Swaim, 26 last week for Hooper, and then 31 for our guy Okonkwo here. So I like that's trending up. This is pretty tough between the two. But when you look at what's going to decide it for me is when you look at the Patriots. The Patriots are one of the best teams against the slot. So that to me, even though our guy McBride is getting most of the work there at the tight end position in Tennessee, he's going against one of the best slot defenses in the league. So I really just don't see, and plus, at best, he's going to be a third, if not a fourth, actually maybe even a fifth option when you factor in Connor as well and Greg Deutsch. So, he's getting the routes there, but I just don't see him really doing much against the Patriots defense. So I would go with the Tennessee tight end here.
Matt?
Same way, right? This is along with Connor. This is recency bias, right? A lot of these moves you have to make based on what you see. Connor was a bust early on. The Tennessee tight ends have not been something to write home about over the years. But recency bias says that Okonkwo is the guy, and McBride. Yeah, I think you're right, Derek. I mean, we can count it off, right? Hopkins, Hollywood, Connor, Dortch, Robbie Anderson, Trey McBride. It's just too many mouths to. By the way, you could put Kyler in there because he's going to run as well, so he's going to take opportunities away from McBride. And McBride was like a fancy. Let me go deep into the waiver wire pick when Zach Ertz got injured, but he hasn't done anything to say that he should be a start. So Okonkwo with my recency bias and the fact that it's, I don't know, whatever, recency bias. There you go. Stamp it.
Forget about recency bias. I'm just going to give you some box score bias. Here's Trey McBride's 3 starts: 1 for 7, 4 for 14, 1 for 1. 1 for 1 as a receiving tight end. Here's
those are recent stats, right?
No, they're recent, but I'm going to give you just the box scores here. Chey Okongwu, 1 for 48, 1 for 41, 1 for 31, 3 for 35, 4 for 68 last week. So, just from a box score standpoint, Chey Okongwu is more explosive, but also Jacksonville and the Patriots are neither. Jacksonville's not a bad matchup for tight ends. They're probably in the middle of the pack, but it's good enough. I think that I know that Trey McBride with Hollywood back and also Hopkins, he's not getting any looks. And I think James Conner, if they're going to go short, they're going to go to James Conner, not McBride. Based on the numbers we're seeing, I think this is a slam dunk, boys. Good job. Chey Okongwu is my pick there as well. Brian, thank you as well for joining us. Good luck to everyone. Mike F., another one, man. Mike, what's going on, man? Always a pleasure to see you on. He needs a wide receiver 3 and a flex for PPR, so it looks like we're picking 2 here. We have Michael Gallup, James Conner, Pickens, Pacheco, Hollywood Brown, and Juju. So, boys, just take that all in. A lot of options here. Gallup, Conner, Pickens, Pacheco, Brown, Juju, 1 wide receiver, 1 flex. What do you got, Matt?
The flex is easy. It's Connor. We just discussed that ad nauseum. And help me. Who does Dallas get this week? Why do I not know that?
Texans.
Yeah, Texans, yeah.
And you know what? All right. Shame on Mike McCarthy for when he was with Green Bay and all he wanted to do is kick fucking field goals to then run it up on Indianapolis last week. Shame on him. And we lost because Zeke scored the touchdown. So I'm not salty, but I'm salty. I guess that they're willing to run it up on Houston too. So give me Gallup and Connor, even though I would I think the right answer is probably Hollywood Brown. But if McCarthy's got some hard on about running scores up right now, it may be Gallup again. If it's me, because I hate Dallas, I'm starting Hollywood and Connor in Arizona. But I think the right answer might be Gallup, and Connor is locked in at flex for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I'm putting Connor in my flex. We talked about that a few minutes ago. Just the volume play itself, you can't beat that. But Matt, you're right. The right answer is Hollywood Brown here. You would say why against the Patriots? Well, the Patriots are giving up almost 24 points per game to wideouts, but they're I mentioned a few minutes ago, they're one of the best against the slot. So Hopkins and Brown should feast on if Kyler can get him the ball. Both Hopkins and Brown should feast on that Patriots defense. I mean, okay, Belichick's a master tacticianer in defense, but is he going to double team both Hopkins and Brown? I don't see it. I mean, they're gonna probably funnel their defense towards Hopkins, and I think Brown has an opportunity to outpace Hopkins this week. So I'm going Brown as my wide receiver 3 and Connor in the flex. And when we first got this question, I was like, man, this is a great list of names here for wide receiver 3 and flex, and I'm glad he might keep receivers and running backs in the next entry down. So yeah, he's got a great team here. Kudos to you, Mike, for putting together such a great team.
Hey, and Derek, if we don't mind, Derek and I are
those names right there.
Derek and I are benching Hollywood.
Yep, we are. Yeah. But tell them who we're playing.
Well, we have Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and Jalen Waddle. So
yeah,
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I think so. I'll say something that I find interesting. Hollywood Brown played mostly in the slot last week, 2 weeks ago when he was playing, because they actually used Robbie Anderson and AJ Brown on the outside. Patriots are like a big time out wide funnel defense. They like to allow points out wide, and that's my overthinking of this. It should be based on the numbers. And listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to throw a curveball here. It's Pacheco for me. The number one matchup for the run game this week in our matchup metric is Kansas City against Denver. And I think Pacheco just feasts on that Denver defense. And I think he's going to get you probably close to 100 yards rushing. Maybe he finds the end zone, gets maybe a target or two. I think he's going to have a big day because of the metrics. And then I'm going to probably go with Hollywood Brown. I'm not going to try to overthink it. As much as I'm looking at the numbers and it's like, oh, he's going to play a lot in the slot, I just think that the Patriots are the no Jalen Mills either, this cornerback. So I just think that I think the Patriots could put up points too against the Cardinals. So I think that might be a fun game. I'm going to go Hollywood Brown and Pacheco in the lineup.
You're going Pacheco over Connor. I just want to make sure I heard you right.
Yeah.
Against a team that doesn't give up any points.
Denver, one of the best against running backs. Top 10.
I think you might be drunk.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
And
I'm not drunk.
and you look at the last 3 weeks, Pacheco's almost splitting evenly snaps with McKinnon.
Yeah. They're not here. For Mike F, you can discard whatever Bobby said, Mike F.
All right. Jack. All right, here. It's all BS here. Okay, so last week 8, Jacksonville, 24 carries, 156 yards from Travis Etienne against Denver. Week 11, Josh Jacobs, 24 for 109. Devonta Foreman, 24 for 113. They just don't allow touchdowns, but they're playing the Chiefs. We're not talking about the Panthers, the Raiders, the Titans. We're not talking about those kind of teams. We're about the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to be able to do whatever they want against the Denver Broncos. I'm sorry, the Broncos are – I know that the Russell Wilson situation is – it is what it is. I'm just telling you now. It's just what the numbers say. James Conner's going to get a shit ton of volume. I know that. But I'm just telling you, when you have number one in this metric, number one matchup based on the ground game, they're getting crushed over the last month on the ground. So I just think he's going to have a monster day on the ground. The Chiefs are going to be able to – Chiefs are not the same team. You can't almost not even look at metrics when it comes to the Chiefs. Chiefs are going to be able to do whatever they want against the Denver Broncos. And I just have a hunch Pacheco's going to have a really big day, and we'll see. But Connor, you're right. Probably right. He's going to have 25 touches, and you're probably going to be right in the long run. But I'm just going to take that potential upside with those monster 100-yard games over the last month. So I think Pacheco's going to have a big day on the ground. We'll see. The best part, too, is we get to play the games today, and we'll find out. All right. Sky Gawasco, bringing you in, buddy. How you doing?
Good morning, everybody. How we doing?
Good, hey, Scott. Good, man. Little dis. It's. I'm glad you're here. I'm getting attacked. Verbally. You know what I mean? It's been rough first thing in the morning by the gentlemen. But listen, they hold your feet to the fire, and that's why you come to the show. We're not just a bunch patting each other on the back with our takes. They called me out on my shit. Hopefully I gave him some information that says, all right, maybe he's not that crazy. But gentlemen, I appreciate you holding my feet to the fire. All right. Sky, we're going to you first, buddy. Detox again, coming back at you. Full PPR, flex, and wide receiver. Pick 2. You got Marquise Brown, Juju, D-Hop, and Chubb. What do you guys
It's
I'm
not Chubb. It's actually Zeke, not Chubb. Look, if you
Zeke.
would go down one block.
Not Chubb. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
Good call. Yep. I'm going to sit Juju. Unfortunately, I know PPR and all that. I'm a big Tony Pollard guy, but D Hop and Marquise Brown, who are you guys talking? I'm okay with that on Monday. And Juju's just not getting it done since that concussion. He's just not been the same. He had 11 targets in back-to-back games before that. Since then, he's been a bit lost. So, and as you guys just mentioned about the run game against the Broncos, the pass game, they're very good as well. There's a lot of weapons, and MVS has been stepping up big time the last couple of weeks. And obviously, Travis Kelce's far and away the number one there usually. So for me, pretty easily, it's going to be the Cardinals, and then I'll go with Zeke.
Derek, let's go to you, buddy.
So we're picking two here, 2 out of these 4.
And a flex.
So,
2 wide receivers and 1 flex.
okay. That's what I
Oh,
read.
no,
that
maybe it
just
is.
2
Maybe
of
it
the
is
4.
2 total. I'm sorry, it is. Looks
It's
like
2 total. Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
2 total.
I read a flex and my bad, guys. I read a flex and wide receiver pick 2 as well, like 2 receivers and a flex. Sorry. In that case, I'll go Hop and Zeke actually.
Yeah, I just said, when we're talking about the Cardinals, perhaps Brown gets a little more work than Hopkins with the Patriots going to focusing a little more on the big play of Hopkins. So I'm going to stand by that, and I'm going to go Brown over Hopkins, and then go Zeke as well. The Texans. We know the Texans are awful against running backs, and although I prefer Tony Pollard, for the Cowboys, we just can't deny that Zeke's getting work. They keep feeding him, and he's going to get work around the end zone as well. He just seems to get a touchdown or 2 when we prefer to see it going to Pollard. But I'm taking Zeke, and then I'm going to lean Brown over Hopkins just because I believe that Belichick's going to put more emphasis on stopping Hopkins than Brown.
Matt.
Mainly because I missed Guy for the first 40 some odd minutes of the show. I'm going Hopkins and Zeke as well.
I appreciate that. I'm glad I'm able to sway the vote there.
Yeah,
it's good.
Well, Bobby's been we'll talk offline.
Talk offline. That's key. And no, but talk about me. The pre. You know what, Matt? I'm actually going to agree with you guys on this one. I do like your opinions. I like Zeke, and I like D Hop as well. I'm going to go both those guys are my options here. All right, Zoo Eagle, like it here. We got T Higgins or Hollywood PPR, and then he's got Foreman or Najee. Let's do the first one here. Let's do T Higgins, Hollywood Brown. Matt, let's go to you first.
T Higgins.
Okay, Derek.
Brown for me.
Heavy on the Brown. I like it. I like the theory there. I'm gonna stick with T Higgy.
Bobby was heavy on the Brown until he called in late for the show.
Now I'm lighter on the Brown. That's a good point. Look at that. It's a poop joke for the fans out there.
Oh,
all right.
oh.
If you're a little late to the game. Yeah. I'm gonna go Higgins in this one. With Cleveland. How do we think about Deshaun Watson? Anybody have any? I think he was. I think people might have forgot the guy hasn't played in like a year and a half, and he just doesn't.
No, we didn't because I said that last week. How I mean, is anybody surprised that he was off? He looked as bad as he did last week. Is anybody
I was surprised he looked as bad as he did. He looked horrendous, like horrendous. Yes. I wasn't surprised that he struggled per se. Against a terrible defense, but some of those throws literally were like ground balls, 4 yards in front of the receiver kind of stuff. Like that was pretty brutal.
Yeah, not great. I'm going to go Higgins as well. Let's do the running backs. Matt, back to you. Foreman or Najee?
Because Najee's the better NFL running back. Better hands, more likely to be in the pass game. However, Deontay Foreman against the Seahawks is smash for me, so I'm going to go with Foreman.
Derek?
Yes, same. I'm going Foreman. I mentioned before he's one of my big plays this week, and I think for good reason. Najee, he's getting healthy. He's starting to look a little bit more like last year, but the Ravens have actually been really good against running backs. So I don't think it's going to take a lot for the Ravens to step up and stuff Najee Harris. And plus, we talked about before, we're not going to be surprised if that game turns out to be 12-6, 12-7. So the likelihood of Harris getting into the end zone versus a Foreman getting into the end zone versus the Seahawks, I'm going Foreman easy.
Foreman also, and really, oddly enough, it's actually a volume thing as well. Like, we keep having Najee's back because he gets the volume, quote unquote. But over the last 5 games, Deonta Foreman's had 26 carries, just 7 against the Bungles, but then 31 against Atlanta. These are carries, not total touches. 26, 7, 31 against the Falcons, 11 versus the Ravens, who shut him down too. And then the Denver Broncos, who Bob just brought up, in week 12, 24 carries, 113 yards. Now, of course, he doesn't score either because the Panthers are dreadful, but getting the yardage there, it's a smash spot for me as well. My only issue is, say it all the time, we always have one guy that we're always like, yes, automatic, guy's going to smash for sure. And they tank every week. There's one of these guys. This guy makes me nervous for some reason. He's battling injuries. Can't trust the Panthers. But I think there's a lot more upside and potentially a better floor as well. So I'll go Foreman.
I am going to go Foreman as well. But I got to tell you, Najee's looked better. The offensive line has looked better in the run game, which is nice to see. I think down the stretch, I'm a lot more confident in Najee over this last few weeks. So I do think he's actually on the way up. But I think you're going to go with the matchup this week. I like Foreman. Should be a solid play this week. All right. So Detox and Mike F. We might have just made a friendship here, folks. So this is what we're about. We bring people together. Not only just our friendships here, but we bring our fans together. We appreciate Official Savage. We do have a kicker report. I just want to make sure we don't have any more questions. I'll run through that in just a second as well. But yeah, so basically, here it is. When you had that morning coffee hits different with the whiskey in it. He gets it. Listen, Detox gets us. I mean, listen, that's the fans we're looking for. People that just understand what we got going on here, and we love every second of it right now. I'm just going to do quickly.
Maybe an all-time low for the show.
No, never. Honestly, it's an all-time high. I don't care what anybody says. All right. I actually sent this to so earlier this week, a frequent flyer of the show, Gladys, came on. She actually sent me like she asked me how many. I sent her a list of 10 kickers. She texts me back, none of those are available. I go, I sent you 10 kickers and none of them are available. But here's what I got for you. All right. Here's my top 5 streamer kickers of the week. It's Cade York, Jason Saunders, Jason Myers, Michael Badgley, and Jake Elliott. So those are my 5 guys that I would like to stream in these games this week. So if you get one of those kickers, please do and get them in. Let's talk injuries, folks, because honestly, we just had some guys get announced as inactives just a second ago. And I'm going to get some of the boys' thoughts on these inactive players. Lamar Jackson's out today. Matt, I'm going to kick it over to you. We have Tyler Huntley, who showed some signs last year. And by the way, Mark Andrews played very well with Tyler Huntley. Any hesitation outside? Like, if you're in a 2 QB league, would you start Huntley this week? What's your thoughts about this guy?
2 QB league for sure. But I'm starting a guy like Goff or Mike White over Huntley.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Goff is probably one of our favorite ones.
Yeah, but not Brock Purdy. I'm probably starting Huntley over Purdy.
Gotcha. All right, let's kick it down. Von Miller and Jordan Phillips. We just talked about those 2 key defensive line, 2 of the top 4 defensive line. That might be a slight bump for Knight and Michael Carter in that game. No Brandon Cooks and no Nico Collins. Derek, I want to kick it down to you here. Your guy talked a little bit about Jordan Akins a few weeks ago. Any thoughts on him this week with those 2 guys out? Are you looking at any of the receivers, or is this just Dallas defense all day?
Yeah, I mean, he has been coming on. We brought him up before, and he's been coming on a little bit for the Texans. Kyle Allen's back at quarterback, but I can't touch anyone on the Texans wide receiving core. If it was a better matchup, maybe if they were playing the Chiefs or something, then we could talk. But with that Cowboys defense, who by my rankings are the best against tight ends, best defense against tight ends, I can't expect much from Akins.
All right, let's kick it down. We have a couple questions coming in. Let's talk with Anthony Brown, just as like future reference. He's an outside quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, opposite of Trayvon Diggs. That could come up big, especially if Diggs shadows number 1s down the line. Leonard Williams, defensive tackle for the New York Giants, is out today. That's not good against the Eagles. So I think that you're going to see a lot of Miles Sanders in that one. Dory Jackson also out. That's one of the best outside cornerbacks for the Giants. So it's good news for AJ Brown and Devonta Smith in that matchup. David Long, D'Amico Autry, and Christian Fulton all out today. 3 really key defensive players for the Titans are out. That is good news for that Jaguars offense. Expect a lot of ETN to really take advantage of that. No David Long, and also outside corner receivers Zay Jones and Marvin Jones with no Christian Fulton. Treylon Burks is out today. We talked a little bit about Che Okongwu earlier. Sky, is there any Titans receiving core person you're kind of targeting with no Treylon Burks, or is it just Derrick Henry this week?
Yeah, no, definitely not. Derrick Henry, probably 200 yards today. I don't want any of the Titans wide receivers. Pour one out for my buddy Robert Woods. I'm a big fan. I think he's still really awesome, but Ryan Tannehill is just depleted, and I'm not into the offense in the pass game at all.
All right, we got Nathan coming in here. Nathan, man, appreciate it for Nathan Fisher. Always a pleasure to have you on. We have Raheem Mostert or Rachaad White. So, let's do the first part, the running back question, and then we'll do the defenses. All right. So, Nathan, he's Raheem Mostert or Rachaad White, both kind of uncertain backfields to an extent with Tampa Bay and the Dolphins. Sky, let's kick it down to you. What's your thoughts here?
I'm getting into this here. Boom, there we go. I want to go. I mean, Mostert's got the matchup for sure. Sunday night against the Chargers, who are not good against the run. But my boy Jeff Wilson's probably the number one there. And Rachaad White, I think, should
How long
get
did
a little.
that take, Bobby? How long did that take for the Jeff Wilson reference? Stop the clock.
That is actually quite
3
impressive.
minutes?
That is quite impressive, actually, because Matt did say we're just so happy we're getting the Jeff Wilson questions before Sky comes on, and then without Jeff Wilson being in the question, you brought him in, but it makes sense, Sky. Go ahead.
So just anytime I'm wrong, you guys feel free to cut me off here, no problem. Nonetheless, Rachaad White hopefully will get a little attaboy for the game winner there next week. But again, look, last week we talked about Alvin Kamara, and Alvin Kamara got shut down against the 49ers. I don't think they're going to have a problem shutting down the Buccaneers offense as a whole. Certainly not the run game. The only thing you can count on is 12 dump offs from Tom Brady, but that's all Leonard Fournette. So unfortunately, I'm not loving Rachaad White this week. So I don't love either one of these matchups, but I would go Raheem Mostert.
Derek?
Yeah, we talked White versus Wilson earlier, and we were I was leaning White. And that was pre-Sky, so we didn't have that take in to consider.
It's like BC and AD.
Yeah, I'm happy to bring the Jeff Wilson knowledge to the forefront. You're welcome.
Yeah. So, I'm going to lean Mostert here, begrudgingly, but I'm going to lean Mostert here. I do like the matchup there better against the Chargers versus the Bucks versus the 49ers, and Miami. They're such an explosive offense, and I see, Nathan, you said the guy you're facing has Wilson, so it's going to be a coin flip. If you start Mostert, he gets Wilson, and which running back gets featured more. I think, to me, if I was in your situation and you have that dynamic there with your opponent having Wilson, I'm going to start Mostert, and I'm going to roll the dice that he gets most of the work in a better matchup, rather than take Wilson with a better matchup than White. And I would rather roll my dice on the same backfield in a really good matchup there.
Yeah. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, for me, it's Mostert as well. In fact, I'm starting him in Razzball over Latavius Murray, who I think might even have a better matchup. I don't think Kansas City's great against the run, but I think Denver's going to have to rely on Russell Wilson, insert the dry heave here to try to win that football game. But I like Mostert slightly over White, and I like White slightly over Jeff Wilson Jr. that we talked about earlier.
What is going on? Like, what happened? Like, I don't understand why Jeff Wilson got 1 carry last week. Has anybody heard a single thing? Like,
no, the Niners punched him in the mouth. It was over. They had to throw I said this before the game happened. The only way the Dolphins are going to be able to try to win the game is if they outshoot the Niners, which is not involving the running backs necessarily. So they got shut down on the run right away. And after that, they're going to run and gun it. And they did, scored a couple touchdowns, but they couldn't run.
I'm
not worried about
that. But why was it 7-1? Like, why did Mostert get 7 carries and Jeff? I don't know what to think of it. It's listen, I want the Miami running back. I do. I want to pick him, but I don't have a clue what's going on. Like, do you guys, if you're going to pick Mostert or Wilson this week, we're all going to lean Mostert, right? Because of what happened. But literally 2 weeks ago, like prior to that, it was Wilson. So I don't know if maybe Mostert was banged up and now he's healthy again. I don't know. But weren't we, just 2 weeks prior, Jeff Wilson had 17 carries, 119 yards. And then the next week he gets 1 carry. So it's like, what is that? I just don't know.
So I don't have an actual answer because you can't explain somebody getting less carries than somebody else necessarily without an injury. But from the game that I watched, and I know that, I'm still making up my Jeff Wilson tattoo here. So take this with a grain of salt, I guess, folks. But before that, Jeff Wilson has led the team basically since he's come over with the Dolphins in rushing attempts, targets, routes, and red zone chances. I think Mostert gets the start, right? He's kind of the veteran on the team. He's a veteran in the relationship with those two guys, whatever. But Jeff Wilson's just been more effective. So they got shut down last week. It just happened that way. And I'm not worried about him this week. I think on Sunday night, I think both these guys get a lot of work. And again, opposite mentality, in my opinion, in order to jump ahead of the 49ers and Titans are the type of team, if they get on top of you, you're smoked. Decent defense, run game, the whole thing. In order to beat them up, you're going to have to pass over the top of them. Dolphins tried that, didn't work out the whole game. The Chargers are the opposite. You're going to want to run against them, keep Herbert off the field, yada, yada, time control, all that stuff. So I think that they're going to lean more on the run game tonight, and I would expect Jeff Wilson overall to have a better game than Mostert.
All right. I think I'm going to take just the Mostert side because I just feel like they can actually do stuff on the ground. I'm not like the Chargers you could crush them on the ground. They're also missing one of their defensive tackles in this game too. They're pretty banged up on defense. We just brought this up the other day, Sky, that the Chargers defense is really banged up. So I think that Mostert, just give me that juice. I think you could probably strike lightning in a bottle. I'd rather take that matchup. So I'm going to lean there. Nathan agrees. He's leaning Mostert. So we all agree with you. He's also facing the guy with Jeff Wilson. So maybe there's a hedge there as well. All right. Famed Tiger, not framed. Because I mean, don't get me wrong. Either one. If I had a framed Tiger on the wall, still fantastic. This is a famed Tiger here. Help me. I've lost 2 weeks in a row despite the advice. Now in a must win.
Well, hold on. Pause. I'm sorry, Bob. That's rude to cut you off. Is this a low-key shot? Is this kind of a shot at the program here?
I don't remember talking to famed Tiger last week. So
maybe it's not us. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
Give him
benefit of the doubt here. I don't want to, start off on the wrong foot here, but seemed like a little bit of a shot. Just want to clear the air. Go ahead.
That's all right. Yeah, listen, I get it. It happens. We can't always be right. It's all good. Boom.
Look at that. Right on it. Good work.
I was about to hit him with a watch your mouth.
Good save, famed Tiger.
Famed Tiger, listen, I can tell you right now, dude, we're pretty nasty people up in here. We're gonna attack you no matter what. So you watch yourself, young man. All right.
Hold on. Let's bring it back. First timer. Maybe
there you go. So he's come to the right. Now he's where he needs to be for advice. He's going to know after this show, and he wins this week and goes to the playoffs. Guess where he's coming back next week?
My man. All right, famed Tiger. Let's clear the air. We'll start over. Bob, it's all you.
Listen, famed, I got you back. No worries, man. Listen, we can take shots. When we're wrong, we're wrong. Trust me, we own it. Trust me, I can't even get out of a question without Matt and Derek yelling at me that I'm an idiot about the Denver Broncos defense. So trust me, it's all good, my friend. Glad you're on the show. First timer. We're going to help you win your league this week and get in. All right, I'll pick two wide receiver and a flex. So I'm assuming this is 3 players. That's how I'm going into this. Pick 2 wide receiver and a flex. Yep. 3 players, fellas. Kirk, Hopkins. Wow. Okay. Cooper is in officially. Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, James Conner, and Jeff Wilson Jr.
Jeff Wilson. Look at that.
Oh, dude. Not only did this question just shot. This really just went right.
Let's get into the next question here. Let's move on down the board.
Derek,
We'll just
go to Derek. Go to you, sir.
Yeah, and if you could let us know, is this a PPR? Or I'm going to assume it is a PPR, full PPR here.
Yeah,
could let
Derek,
us know.
famed Tiger, let us know.
Yes, PPR.
Yeah. So as we, all right, here we go. Yes. So first of all, when we talked before, I'm starting Connor in the flex here. Even again, we talked about his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. I expect him to get 6 or 8 targets out of the backfield, and I'll take those 6 points on top of everything else that he gives me. So I'm starting Connor in the flex for sure. D Hop is going to be one of my receivers, and the other one I'm staying away from Evans here. The matchup with the Niners actually favors Godwin. If you're going to pick one or the other, it very much favors Godwin rather than Evans, and Evans really hasn't been doing much lately either. So I don't think this is his get right game. So I'm staying away from Evans, staying away from Cooper. He's banged up, and he's got a bad quarterback right now. So I'm staying away from that one as well. So I'm going between Allen or Kirk, and this one's actually kind of close for me, but I am leaning Christian Kirk against the Titans, who are not very good against wideouts. I'm actually going to talk later who I like out of the Jaguars wide receiving core even a little better than Kirk, but I think Kirk has the opportunity to put more up than Allen does against the Dolphins, even though that could likely be a shootout. I'm still going to lean Kirk. So to summarize, Kirk, D Hop, and Connor for me.
Matt.
Yeah, I'd like a little bit of a shout out for famed Tiger for bum ass Jeff Wilson Jr.
God damn it!
Right, the guy showed up for the first time here, and he's just
throwing darts. Hey,
just fire
fine.
and hate.
I love it.
That's why we're here. We that's what we signed up for. So good for you. Please come back. He might even get a guest appearance. You never know with questions like that. This guy may carve out a niche. I'm with Derek.
I love this.
Connor and D Hop. I want it to be Cooper, but I'm not going to play Cooper until I see that Watson can actually throw the football really well. Mike Evans, again, has not done much. He almost seems out of sorts with Brady. It's strange. And Keenan Allen, I don't trust the Chargers guys until I see them start to bring the full offense to the field. So, and again, bum ass Jeff Wilson Jr., we've already talked about him. So give me the 3 that Derek said: Christian Kirk, DeAndre Hopkins, James Conner. And I'll be right back, boys.
All right. Okay. In the spirit of professionalism, I'm going to go ahead and take the high road here and actually answer the question. Although I got to be honest, my feelings are just a little hurt. It's okay if you don't like a player, but to attack someone who I consider like a borderline family member is a little bit tough. But we'll move on here. All right. So for me, this is actually, I won't say easy, but it narrowed down pretty quickly for me. So Christian Kirk actually for me is kind of a smash here against Tennessee. Not worried about it. Should be a shootout. If Trevor Lawrence doesn't go down last week, I think the Jags put up another 20 points. That offense is cooking. So I like that a lot. I'm going to skip over D-Hop and Cooper for this one. I totally agree with you guys on Mike Evans. It's been unfortunate, but it's definitely the Chris Godwin show. And if Mike Evans doesn't have, big time touchdowns or something, he's just not getting the volume we're used to. I will sit bum ass Jeff Wilson in this particular scenario. And I'm going to go Keenan Allen. I do like Keenan Allen quite a bit. Since he's been back, 8 targets, 7 targets, 14 last week, and he scored a touchdown in back-to-back weeks. So I think the Chargers are starting to pick it up and cook. Mike Williams being back, I think actually helps kind of open the defense a little bit there. And then I'm going to go James Conner with the flex. 4 touchdowns the last couple of games. He has returned to that bell cow playing, 90% of the snaps. So for me, it's Kirk, Allen, and Conner.
Yeah, since it's a full PPR, I'm probably going to go, Connor it's just like, it's hard to fade Connor, but I want to go with who's I feel like has the better matchups. And based on all the metrics we have, Kirk, D-Hop, and Keenan Allen are the 3 guys in a full PPR and feel comfortable. Keenan Allen, listen, Miami's a ridiculous slot funnel defense. And they allow 42% of their fantasy points to the slot, which is pretty good for Keenan Allen. But the thing I like the most about that game is that the Miami Dolphins should have put up points. and that could be a very high scoring game. I want to get a piece of that game. D-Hop, New England's just, I don't really know what to think of New England's defense. They haven't been as intimidating as they have been in years past. They're going to be down Jalen Mills on the outside, and I think that D-Hop's just like the guy, so I'm going to stick with him there. And then Kirk, I think you guys nailed it perfectly. I think that, listen, Tennessee Titans are just so bad, but they're really bad against slot receivers. That's what Kirk's like, the prototypical he can get it done. So I actually, I'm sorry. They're not bad against the slot receivers. But overall, I think Kirk's going to be good. So I'm going to go Kirk, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins. Hopefully that helps. All right.
While we just really quick, let's go to this famed Tiger. The second question we got down here really quick, and then I have a question for the team. Just a second half here. Let's cover this real quick.
Sky, why don't you just do it? Sky, you just run it. You run the show. You're right. When we're done with the questions, I'll go through the rest of the injuries, but you're running the show from now on. Go ahead.
Deal. Trevor or Dak? Trevor or Dak this week here? Derek, we'll go with you first.
Yeah, all things, being equal, Dak's a better quarterback at this point than Trevor for me. However, when you look at the matchups, you look at the Texans, who are top 5 against the quarterback, and then you look at the Titans, who are bottom 5, if not one of the worst against quarterbacks. So that being said, I'm looking matchup only here, and I'm going to go with Trevor.
I agree, actually. Bob?
Same.
Yeah, and it's not about Dak or the weapons. I think they're clearly better as a unit, the Cowboys and the Jags. But the reason that you look on your little fantasy program, whichever platform you use, and you see a red next to Houston, it's not that their defense is good. It's that their run game is terrible, and people don't have to throw against them as much, so the stats are down. But they're just, the Cowboys aren't going to have to throw the ball much after the second half. Matt, you want to jump in on this one real quick? Trevor or Dak quickly here at quarterback?
I'd take Titty Grabber too.
Fair enough. Okay, I got a quick question here. I know I came in a bit late here.
Well, this must be about Jeff Wilson Jr.
Yeah. Well, I was just fulfilling my Christmas list for Jeff, and I lost track of time. That's totally my bad. So I hear a lot of D-Hop and Hollywood, and I appreciate the analysis. Derek, I'm going to go to you quickly. This doesn't have to be a round robin, but let me re-get your version of, I'm with you. Bill should hyper-focus on Nuke. That just makes sense on the way they do that. But we keep bringing up Nuke also, that we're also excited about it. So are we excited about him, but head-to-head it's Hollywood? Or are we picking Hollywood kind of in general over Nuke just because of the Patriots, but then is Nuke not dominant to just still get his?
No, just like the question we just did. I mean, he definitely stands out amongst other wide receivers. I know that's a game tomorrow night, but when you look at the slate today, there's not a lot of exciting games today.
6 teams are out still somehow.
Right, 6 teams are out. We had a pretty good matchup on Thursday night. As far as players that we want to target. So I'm not really generally overly excited about the slate today, and I see that there's opportunity there for both of those receivers, for the Cardinals receivers coming off a bye. They can work in Brown and Hopkins. So I like Hopkins overall against what our other options are, like we just said. But excuse me, we just talked before you came on. We had a question where both of those guys were available. And I picked Brown over Hopkins because, again, I see, although I think both of them will do well, I think Brown may have a little more opportunity against that Patriots defense that to me, would be focusing more on the more explosive, more big play. I mean, Hopkins is a guy who can beat you, as a defense or as a team. Hopkins, and we've seen it. How many over the years? We've seen it so many times, and we've seen it this year. Brown, he's had some big games, but is he a game winner? If I'm the Patriots, or is Hopkins more the game winner? And to me, that's Hopkins. I'm going to put a little bit more focus on Hopkins, which I think just opens up a little bit more for Brown. And that's just my thought.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. All right.
Can I just push back a little bit on this stuff, guys? So just like the Patriots defense don't have that mainstay Stephon Gilmore right now, and they don't have J.C. Jackson. They don't no one's emerged yet. Just over the last few weeks, Justin Jefferson, 9 for 139 and 1. Stephon Diggs, 7 for 92 and 1. So Hopkins kind of fits that mold with those guys, and they smoked the Patriots. And that's just the last 2 weeks. So it's just like, I understand the Patriots. It's just like, if you look at the stud receivers, this even earlier this year, week 1, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle both had big games against them. It just doesn't seem like they have the talent this time around. I know Bill Belichick loves to scheme things up and he takes players away, but it looks like they can't. Like, they just haven't been able to do it. They've been getting smoked by the top guys. And the numbers on our site show that they get smoked out wide, and that's where Hopkins lines up. So I just think that's why I'm a little more confident that Hopkins will be fine, even though Hopkins in his career, it hasn't been really great against the Patriots. But, he's like double-digit fantasy points pretty much every time in PPR. So I feel that's why I still feel comfortable with Hopkins.
Cool. Thanks. I just came in a little bit late on that, so I want to get a refresher in general. Cool, Bob. Do you want to transition, or you want to knock out a couple more questions?
A couple more questions. Get to the questions.
All right. Let's go with almost went with Sprint here. Spear XT. Foreman or Homer. Got a lot of movement here in Seattle. Actually, Bob, if you could, we'll come to you last. Can you give me an updated on the running back situation in Seattle? It's been kind of messy all day.
Tony Jones is starting.
He is. Okay. So Homer is not even the starter here. So maybe this will be a quick one. Matt, let's go to you first. Foreman or Homer? Just hearing that from Bob.
Foreman, and it was even before we heard that from Bob.
Okay. Derek?
Same for me.
Bob?
Foreman.
Samesies. We'll go Panthers all around there. Okay, let's go to Finn Strom. Goff, Prescott, 4-point quarterback. Goff, Prescott. Derek, we'll go to you first.
Yeah, I love Jared Goff this week. Even 4-point versus the 6-point for touchdowns. That's going to be one of the few really, well, we hope one of the few really good games this week. And Goff and my boy DJ Shark should light it up. And we just talked about Prescott and the need, not to throw. Pollard and Zeke, we expect to get the bulk of the work. Cowboys should have no problem beating the Texans. Prescott shouldn't have to do a lot of work. So very easy question for me. I'm going Goff.
Bob?
Goff.
Matt?
Goff. Not close.
Same. Hard to go away from Goff at home. He's been on fire lately, and when he's playing in the dome there in Detroit. And again, Minnesota should put up points too, so that should be a shootout. So again, unanimous. We'll go with Goff. All right. Lots of banter.
Very rarely do we get the quad consensus.
Yeah,
Very
2 in a row there too. I mean, that's pretty nice. Well done. Okay. Isaac, good morning. Again, if you've been in already, welcome back. If you haven't yet, great to see you once again. Let's go DST, boys. KC, Tennessee, TB. Kansas City, Tennessee, Tampa Bay. Bob, will go to you.
Can't touch Tennessee today. I'm going to go Kansas City.
Matt?
Make it 2 for Kansas City.
Derek?
Make it 3.
Gentlemen, and I'm not just following in the sheep mentality. Got to go KC as well. That's a trifecta on the quad box. Skyfecta. Let's keep it rolling here. Love that. I think this one's going to make it 4. We'll see what happens. So we're going to go Kansas City Chiefs across the board here against the completely hapless Denver Broncos. Still doesn't make sense. Mike F. back here. Let's go with Dennis Hopper or Cade Otton. Tight end PPR. Matt?
Otton, because they're going to throw 55 times today.
Derek?
I don't like either one of these options, to be honest with you. I included Otton in my Target Trends article this week, and he had a nice game, but this week is just brutal for him, to be honest. I don't see him really doing much of anything. And then, we talked about Okonkwo earlier. We liked him, over Hooper. So this is a tough one for me, but I'm going to have to lean Titans here rather than the Bucks.
Bob?
Yeah, I would go Okonkwo if he's available, but yeah, I'd go Hooper or Rotten.
Same. There's a number of other streaming options, I think, in general that I would also choose over both of these guys, but head-to-head here, I'm going to go with Hooper And I think the biggest reason is we talked about it earlier that Tennessee is just completely depleted anyway on a healthy day at wide receiver. And now they, some of those guys are out too as well. So I will go with Hoopa. All right, Trey. Right, I got the rest. Yeah, cool. Morning, gents. Morning, Trey. Full PPR, start 2. We got a big one here. Start 2, Juju, Boyd, Singletary, Judy, Rashad White. I'm forced to start Greg Dulcich if that impacts Judy. Thanks and good luck today. Appreciate that. Kind question and well formatted. Thank you very much, Trey. All right, Derek, we're going to go to you first here, but we got full PPR, start 2, Juju, Boyd, Singletary, Judy, and White. So it looks like we got a flex opportunity here as well.
Yeah, there's a lot to pick through here. So let me start by saying that Dulcich does affect Judy for me. All things equal, I may have included Judy here, maybe, but I can't take 2 parts of that Denver offense in my lineup. I just can't do it. So, and frankly, I'd probably prefer Dulcich anyway. So I'm going to scratch Judy for that reason. Tyler Boyd, against the Bengals, the Bengals are real tough against the slot, and that's where Boyd primarily works. He's actually a down for me.
Against the Browns.
Yeah, right. Against the Browns, right. Against the Browns. And just because it's a matchup game, I really don't love Juju either, but I have to consider him here. I think, Singletary, we talked about him and Cook earlier, and what's that going to look like at, maybe a split at best, maybe slightly favoring Cook. So that's a little bit of a downgrade there. And, same with Rashad White and Leonard Fournette. So, yeah, this is really tough for me. And I'm throwing darts, to be honest. I'm going to say Juju and Singletary. But
Matt?
I'm not comfortable with it.
I'm going to go Singletary and Boyd, even though Boyd is against the numbers, because I don't more about not loving Juju, and I don't want to pair the second Denver player on a fantasy team that's probably trying to make the playoffs. So Singletary and Boyd, and I hope Boyd pops along.
Babo?
No Sutton today, so that should help Judy. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Judy and Judy and Juju.
And is this the first game in 2022 that Denver scores 22 or more?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's gonna be a lot of garbage time though. Give me the down double digits against KC. I'm all about it, and they'll score a bunch of points late. Let's go to garbage time fantasy points.
Yeah, I mean, Kansas City's defense gets beat up sometimes because they're just on the field. I mean, Kansas City scores and they're on the field constantly, but the defense as a unit is pretty solid. So no, I don't think Denver scores 22 today. Maybe 21, 3 touchdowns in a shootout, but not 22. I don't think Singletary is a starter, or he's getting supplanted quickly here by James Cook. So I'm going to fade him. I would love to start Boyd, but he's back in that number 3 role. Mixon's back. Don't like that. We talked about Rashad White earlier, so I think that narrows it down, unfortunately, because I'm not necessarily excited about this either. But in full PPR, I'll go with Judy, just hopefully to get 7 catches if he can stay healthy for a whole game, and then Juju. Yeah, don't love it, but I want to go Juju and Judy. Okay, boys, a couple more here. Get some starts of the week here before we end the show. Nathan is back. Seattle.
We missed that Nathan question earlier. It was a double 2-part question, so we missed this part of it.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, Nathan. Did we? We just didn't get to the second half there. Sorry about that, bud. Thank you for staying tuned and getting back to us. Apologies there. All right, Seattle Seahawks or San Fran Niners, who, by the way, folks, just because I'm bitter about it, don't play in San Francisco anymore. I just want to clearly air on that. They play in Santa Clara, which is nothing. There's nothing there but a stadium, and it's not San Francisco. Rant over. Seahawks or 49ers? Matt will go with you.
49ers. There's very few plug-and-play defenses every single week. 49ers is one of them. You don't look at the schedule. You don't ask questions. 49ers.
Same.
Yeah, agreed. 49ers. That game is the second lowest point total for the odds makers for good reason. I'm going 49ers.
Bob, are you worried about Sam Darnold?
Always. Just emotionally worried about him. But no, I'm going to go with the 49ers.
Yeah, 49ers in a landslide. I agree there. It's okay. He gave us an out here. No biggie. Still here listening. Appreciate you. All right, let's go to Chip Addict. Now we get, handles and stuff. Of course, we don't know who you people are. We don't know what you look like. May not even be human beings. Who knows? Chip Addict, though, it raises quick round robin. I'm putting you guys on the spot. No rankings. I don't want you looking up, Google searches, stats, nothing. Really quickly, round robin, favorite chip right now or historically. Bob, I'm going to go with you. Favorite chip historically or currently?
Dorito Cool Ranch, and on a sandwich, it's salt and vinegar chips.
On a sandwich, not with the sandwich, on the sandwich.
On the sandwich.
Gross.
Fair.
Don't even start.
We gotta respect a man's opinion. Derek, go ahead.
Thank you.
Doritos, just plain Doritos for me.
Wow, that's 2 for Doritos. Coming in hot there.
That boy, Derek.
Funyuns with regular Doritos second.
Wow. Almost. I'm not making it a quad box on Doritos. I'm sorry. I gotta go against the grain there. I don't know if Pringles count, but like sour cream and onion Pringles, if we're gonna count Pringles, maybe a sleeper pick there. But I gotta go Pringles because, frankly, once you pop, the fun don't stop, and that's what I'm excited about. Okay, Chip Addict. I think you had a football question as well. Let's get to that too. Need 2.5 PPR. Mike Williams, Devonta Smith, Marquise Brown, Raheem Mostert. Look at this lineup, boys. Love it. Mike Williams is coming back. Devonta Smith may or may not be a big pick for me this week. Marquise Brown, we've talked about all morning, and the other Jeff Wilson is on the list as well. So need 2.5 PPR. Derek, we'll start with you.
Yeah, Devonta Smith is certainly one. I'm pretty high on him this week. I think he's got a great matchup, and I like playing him. Even half PPR, full PPR just makes it a rock solid for me. But half PPR, I'm still with Smith, and I'm on the Hollywood train, so I'm going to stick with Hollywood Brown. So Smith and Brown for me.
Matt.
Yep, Smith and Brown for me. And if I can throw out a plug for Jeff Wilson Jr. Jeff Wilson Jr. is the salt and vinegar chip of the NFL.
Nice. Good stab there. Well done. Bob. Some people love salt and vinegar, by the way. It's like far and away their favorite chip. So maybe, hey.
Those people should be on the bottom of the quad box. That is a fact.
Okay, first of all, I said on a sandwich. I said on a sandwich. Okay, I like it on the sandwich. Okay, but yes, I don't care. I don't care about your opinions, Matt. All right, how about that? I don't care about your chip opinions. All right, I'm tired of hearing it. Here's just my thought about this question. I think Mike Williams. I want to see him actually start and finish the game. Is that wrong to say? I'm tired of seeing this guy re-injure his ankle. So until he finishes a game, I'm just going to put him off to the side, especially when I have good options. Same thing with the Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson. Until I see the consistency after maybe 2 or 3 weeks that one of these guys is going to be the guy and not get 7 touches and the other guy gets 17. So I think this is kind of easy in that sense. I'm going to go Marquise Brown and Devonta Smith.
Oh. Super fair analysis. I want Mike Williams so badly, but I agree with you there. I'm going to go with Devonta Smith far and away here, and I'll go with Marquise Brown as well. I'm going to trust Derek here and put my emotions aside for my love for Mike Williams, and I'll go with Brown and Smith. Yeetman 143. I believe that's a heart in old school texting. You guys remember that back in the day? 143 was like I love you. So you could like sneak attack and I love you to your partner there without your folks remembering. Anyway, CD Lamb.
I've never heard that before. That's the first time I heard that. I've never heard of that.
Sorry. Maybe growing up with a teenager has flawed my brain. All right. CD Lamb, Chris Godwin at wide receiver 2. And I don't believe we have a setting. So, of course, we default to half PPR here. CD, Godwin, 2 great options. I would love to see who the other option or 2 is there. If these
look right
guys.
below.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, it's not Thielen and Godwin at flex. Wait, what am I missing here?
CD, Godwin, Thielen, pick 2.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Nice. Thanks, Derek. Good math. All right. CD, Godwin, Thielen, pick 2. Let's do it that way. Half PPR, Bob.
I'm gonna go CD and Godwin.
I feel like there's more. That just seems too automatic. I feel like there's more here. But Matt, you agree? Yep. Derek.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we talked about Dak not having to throw, but the few times he's going to throw, he's gonna look CD's way, and they get in the red zone. And, he's the guy to go after. Although it would be nice to see Dalton Schultz catch a touchdown, but here between the three, you've got to go Godwin and CD. Yeah.
Just rank them though. I'm gonna go Godwin, CD, and then Thielen.
Agreed. I second that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that as well. PPR. I don't think that changes much because they're all kind of PPR guys there. Eat man, but looks like that just feels like a trick question for some reason. I'm not sure why that's like throwing me off. I believe we've got the rest handled down here. Trey wants to give a shout out. Appreciate you, brother. Looks like we're all good. Bob, you want to take over for a minute?
Yeah, I just want to get through these last injury updates and get you guys' thoughts on some of these things too. And maybe I have a question or two about some lineups because things are getting hot and heavy over here as well. All right, Kadarius Toney is out again today, folks. Pretty much at this point, who cares? K'Wan Williams, slot cornerback for the Denver Broncos, could be good news for a guy like Juju, plays a little bit in the slot as well. Cortland Sutton is out today. Big news for Greg Dulcich and Jerry Jeudy, who are a team where they're going to have to throw. Kenneth Walker and DJ Dallas are officially out today, so that is big news. Looks like Tony Jones Jr. will get the start today. I'm going to ask you a quick question, Derek. I'm going to you on this one. Tony Jones Jr., what's your thoughts on him? Are you starting him over any kind of notable RB2s this week?
No, not really, no.
Because,
they still have Travis Homer there, who may get some work. He's a number 3 for a reason in that offense. He's getting the start. Panthers are a pretty good matchup, but no, I'm probably not going to put much trust in him.
Tony Jones or Gus Edwards?
Jones.
Oh yeah, Jones for sure.
Is Dobbins playing today?
Who?
He's activated.
Is Dobbins playing today?
I don't.
Yeah, he got activated off IR. Actually, I don't see him in the inactives.
Probably not a start, but
Tony Jones or Michael Carter?
Carter.
I would consider Jones there over Carter because we've got Knight. We've got Knight there as well, and we don't know what we're going to get from Carter. I would probably go Jones there.
Man, must win, and I gotta start Tony Jones in my
flex. I'll throw another one in there. Tony Jones or Gabe Davis?
Isaiah McKenzie.
Nice. I'll tell you right now. Isaiah McKenzie continues to be as hot as he is right now and fades out Gabe Davis the way that he has been. Isaiah McKenzie might be Jeff Wilson next year. I'm just going to preface it. We'll see what happens over the offseason. But I'm telling you right now, the fire is stoked for Isaiah McKenzie on this side of the quad box.
I think the one good thing about Tony Jones we could talk about, number one, they're playing the Panthers at home. So, Gino and them could put up points against the Panthers.
Gino's got a bum shoulder.
Yeah, so maybe there's a possibility. And they don't really need to worry. I mean, Kenneth Walker just sounds like he'll be back probably sooner rather than later after this week. Wow. So I could see them giving him 15 to 20 carries in this game, especially if they go up against the Panthers. So I'm just trying to tell myself that because I have to start him. So let's just move on.
Tony Jones or Latavius Murray?
Probably Lat Murray. Yeah.
Which by math would say Latavius Murray over Gus Edwards.
Yeah.
Which you guys fucked up last week.
Yeah, Gus is tough. Gus is straight up touchdown or bust. Like for real. I mean, all running backs are kind of, unless they get 25 touches a game or something like that. But Gus for real, is just not efficient right now. He's not getting chunk plays like the Ravens running backs have over the last couple of years. I don't want anything to do with Gus Edwards personally. I mean, yes, he could rumble in for 2 touchdowns off the 1 yard line, but I don't want to count on that.
So it
All
says
right,
Dobbins practiced the last 2 weeks but stayed on IR. He's been activated. Extended
Yeah, I don't
absence
think
makes it likely he'll be a part of committee with Edwards.
Yeah, you don't start him today, but
No.
you figure going into the fantasy playoffs, he's going to be a player that you're
Go check your waivers, folks.
Yeah. Well,
It's
it's
crazy
funny you
time of
say
year.
that. I did. I had Gus Edwards, and I picked up Dobbins for Edwards. I don't need him. I don't. Well, I did it yesterday, but
or whatever.
But
this week, that's wild.
Yeah, I don't need him today. And in fact, I won't tell you who I'm starting, but Sky loves the guy. But I don't need him today. But I'm looking.
Mike Allstott. Mike also. No, I'm kidding.
I'm looking. Next week and beyond. And yeah, so I picked up Dobbins. I'm going to hold him this week and probably start him next week in the playoffs.
Leonard Fournette or Latavius Murray?
Niners are going to punk him.
Latavius is going to have a nice day today.
Yeah,
I'm good with Latavius.
Bucks are getting punked today.
Jeff Wilson Jr.
or
like a bye week player.
I'm gonna go Jeff Wilson there.
Yeah, slightly. I'm gonna take the one carry for 3 yards over 0. So,
yeah.
Well, that's still a 0, though.
Yeah,
that's still a 0.
True. No, it's 0.3.
That's 0.3.
Dude, you should have to have some point scoring, young man. All right,
I
don't want to hear it. All right, so the secondary is pretty banged up for the Tampa Bay Bucks this week. Maybe Brock Purdy does some nice things. No Mike Edwards and Antoine Winfield in the back. Tristan Wirfs, another injury to that offensive line for Tampa Bay. Yikes. Christian Darrisaw, the left tackle, but also the center, Bradbury, has been ruled out. So against that Detroit defense, Sky Gawasco, down 2 offensive linemen, the Minnesota Vikings. Would you take a shot on the Detroit this week over, let's say, the Cincinnati Bengals?
It's funny you asked, Bob. I just did a show with the Razzball fantasy football program this week, and we talked heavily about streaming the Detroit Lions defense down the stretch here. Now, do I want them against any version of the Vikings? Absolutely not. However, worth picking up. And if you're just super struggling, you're like bottom of the barrel streaming a deeper league, then yeah, you could throw them out there because there's going to be a lot of plays. And look, I expect the Vikings to show up and do well in this game. But can we trust Kirk Cousins? Obviously not. I just think Dalvin Cook is going to go nuts. And once he does, that'll open up the pass game, yada, yada, unravel quickly. But if Kirk takes a couple sacks, throws a couple of picks, all of a sudden it's a good game. You mentioned the Bengals, and I'm actually looking at my own DSTs here, and I don't want to transition too much, but there's a lot of streaming defenses that have bad matchups. So sometimes there's somebody on the line who're like, what the hell? Hopefully they'll have a blow-up game. None of these streaming defenses, at least in the league I'm looking at, have a positive matchup. So I'm a bit stuck. So if you're looking to shoot for the stars anyway, the Lions are not as bad as they look because they're giving up points because that offense is so good, surprisingly to say, that they're on the field so often. So Lions I wouldn't play necessarily, but I also don't think they're your worst option off the waiver.
All right, that's good analysis. All right, Austin Jackson, right tackle, is out. It looks like Tyron Armstead should be back this week, so the Dolphins might be all right there. Bryce Callahan, the slot cornerback, defensive tackle, Sebastian Joseph Day, and safety Derwin James is out. That secondary is extremely banged up. Look for Hill and those guys to have a nice day against that Chargers banged up secondary. Chargers are down both tackles in this game, so that's something notable for the Miami Dolphins defense, but that could be a lot of fireworks in that matchup. Damian Harris out, Jacoby Myers out, Jalen Mills, outside cornerback for the Patriots, is out in that game against Arizona, so that could be a slight bump for DeAndre Hopkins. Rondell Moore is out. Hollywood Brown played the slot in that game. Robbie Anderson, AJ Green split time. Greg Dortch saw 0 routes last week in that game. So it was Hollywood Brown took over in the slot. And then Byron Murphy is out, so that is good news for that. With Jacoby Myers out, is anybody taking a shot on a Patriots player, like a receiver? Parker, Nelson Aguilar, any shots? Anybody going around?
I don't want to, but if I were to, it'd be Parker, I guess. I mean, right. He'd be I don't want to do that, but if I had to.
In DFS, perhaps, but not in the regular season.
Yeah, I'm trying to see when Jacoby Myers, because Myers did miss 2 games earlier this year, so that was weeks 2 and 3. So we could actually take a look and see how it actually worked out for the Patriots in that one. So let's just pull that up. I mean,
Gunnar Olszewski probably.
Ooh,
Oh, he's not even there.
He's not even on. He's not even on the team anymore.
I was being a wise guy.
Classic. Parker led the team. Oh, actually, 7 receptions for 180 yards in 2 games and a touchdown. Little Jordan Humphreys took over in the slot, but I don't think that's going to happen again. Nelson Aguilar played the slot. All right, that's interesting. All right, that's all we got, folks. Listen, that's pretty much the roundup. Do we have any more questions, comments, or concerns here? Does anybody on the screen have a lineup question that you want to ask the team before we go? I am going to be starting Tony Jones over Michael Carter, which haunts my dreams. I'm starting Tua over Jared Goff. Would anybody start Goff over Tua?
I would, yes. Well, yes, I don't know. Man, that defense is rough, but yes, I'm a Goff guy.
I would be as well.
Yep, Goff.
Wow.
Oh, no.
So you should stick with Tua.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn,
he just got trifected with 20 minutes to make a decision. That's not what he wanted.
Rachaad White or Tony Jones?
Pass.
Can't do it. I need you.
Just
I don't ask for a lot. I don't ask for a lot, man. I need this right now. God.
Well, you're invested. You're already invested. The other one, just roll with it.
I say, you're invested with Jones. Just play him and deal with it.
Trust.
I gotta say, I'm a Niner homer. I'm not shy about that, but I feel like I'm also in tune in general. I just don't think, like, running the ball specifically, I don't think that the Bucs are going to do well today. And I don't think that Rachaad White specifically will do well today. And all that 3rd down, 2-minute drill, work from behind, got to come, do the whole thing we saw earlier this week. It's going to be, or last week, it's going to be Leonard Fournette time, unless he gets hurt. So I'm not into Rachaad White this week.
Samaje Perine or Michael Carter?
Mixon is playing, correct?
Yep.
Correct.
So you're doing both backups, basically, because Zonovan's the starter, isn't he?
Oh, it's bleak. This is a
50-50.
must-win. Yeah, I'm tied for the 6th seed in this league, and I have 4 starters on bye, and I'm just scrapping.
Yeah. Kind of crazy, bro. Well, go ahead, Derek. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I would go Perine. Mixon's been out 2 games, being again his bell rung. It wouldn't surprise me, especially even if, I don't know if they will, but even if Cincinnati gets up, that they tend to put Mixon on the bench, let him get some work, but really come out with him next week and give Perine the bulk of the work. I trust him more than Carter, personally.
I would go Perine as well. He's proven himself, obviously, with Mixon out. Matt will make it a trifecta. He's proven himself for sure. And he's obviously not going to get like the bulk of the work, obviously, but he's going to get dump downs. He could get a goal line carry.
And remember, Carter was making his money in the passing game, right? He was loading up on catches. Maybe he has that role with Zonovan Knight being the first and second down, early. What do they call it? The early down back. But Carter's not going to have 10 catches, right? Well, he might. Mike White does not seem to dump the ball off. Mike White seems to go downfield. He's got the Brett Favre mentality.
You know what's funny? Last year he wasn't like that, but you're right. This year he hasn't been. But last year he dumped it to his running backs constantly. So
I think last year he was scared, though.
Yeah, maybe he's got more swagger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I hear you. Wow.
The Jets beat the Bills earlier this year, man.
My Samaje Perine, Tony Jones running back duo. It's gonna be.
It's pretty fire, dude.
I am just
enter that lineup in the GPP
that's a dub.
Today. You might be the million. You might win the $1 million. Be the milli maker there.
Give me a KJ Osborne in there as well.
They would make me give the money back if I won that one.
Yeah, KJ Osborne and Noah Brown at receiver, and you're $1 million.
Love Kate Otten, obviously, as well, tight end there.
By the way, one of my starts of the week, who you could throw in there because he's gonna hit today, is Darius Slayton.
There you go. Get a little Giants love for you, Bob.
Yeah, this league I don't have any options. I just looked at the waiver wire. It's like tight end Jordan Akins, like the one guy. I was like, all right, well, that's not gonna happen. So yeah, it's not good. Not good.
I do have a quick question. And am I incorrect that we have not done starts of the week yet?
We have not.
Okay, I have one question for you guys I could use some help with on a DST. Sorry. And then let's blast through our starts of the week and get out of here. DST. So I've been fully streaming all season long. It's been fine. As I mentioned, though, it's a weird week where all the streamers have negative matchups, like the offenses they're playing are high quality there. So I've got Tennessee in right now against Jacksonville. I don't trust their defense, but whatever. And then I got Pittsburgh versus Baltimore, New England versus Arizona, but in Arizona. I got the Bengals versus the Browns, which I'm leaning toward. And then I got like Detroit, Miami, Cleveland, Denver, things like that. So would you stick with Tennessee at home? It's a divisional game. You never know what these games are going to do. Go with Pittsburgh against not Lamar Jackson. Bill Belichick versus Kyler Murray, or Bengals versus Deshaun Watson.
I like the Bengals because he's not throwing the ball well in one full game, and he's just turnover prone. So
he didn't run either,
no.
At least in the first game. Derek?
I like the Steelers in that matchup, playing at home. But I wouldn't, of the others, I would go with Bengals as well. Bengals or Steelers for me.
Bob?
What was it? Bengals, Steelers. What was the other one?
New England or Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee, you can't trust that. That defense is killed. Yeah, I don't know. I would probably go. Let's see.
TJ Watt's fully healthy, yeah?
Yeah.
He is.
That's tough, man. I think the thing we're overlooking with Cincinnati is just that it's Nick Chubb really the problem. Is Nick Chubb going to go for 150 and 2, or is he going to go for 50 yards because they can't throw the football? I'll run the risk. Let's do Cincinnati. Why not?
Yeah, Derek, I like your Pittsburgh play. I was thinking about that too. The Ravens are so unpredictable. I'm just not sure what it's looking like. Okay, cool. I think I'm good there. We got about 14 minutes till kickoff, boys. So while we're going around and when it's not your turn, triple check all your lineups and make sure you're good to go. Folks, we are going to end you quickly here with our starts of the week. But of course, make sure to update your rosters right now. Get those guys out, move them into the later playing guys, put in the flex position. So if you need to make a decision tonight or whatever, you can do that. Also go check your waiver wire very quickly for maybe a double up DST or a streamer for next week with somebody on a buy that no one's looking at. Go beat the waiver wire right now if you need to get into the playoffs here, and let's get locked and loaded here. Matt, we'll start with you. Start of the week or starts of the week. How are you feeling?
So I think we all have DJ Chark, so I won't pile on DJ Chark. I think we're all good with him. And we're going guys that you're not obviously starting, right? So we can't say I'm on Ross St. Brown because he's obviously a stud. My guy is Slayton for the Giants, mainly because I think it's going to be volume. He can get deep on just about any defense. Can he catch the ball? From time to time he can. So I like him kind of in a weird situation against Philly. And from there, because I'm looking for that holiday bonus, I'm going to go with Tony Jones.
Love it. Derek?
So we mentioned we all like Christian Kirk earlier, but no one mentioned either one of the Jones brothers. I'm going to lean Marvin Jones Jr. Actually, I think he's going to have a great game. Tennessee defense is one of the worst against wideouts, and Jones is almost like 100% out of the wideout. So I like Marvin Jones Jr. a little over Zay Jones because of this chest injury. So I think Marvin Jones is going to get more workload there. And then running back, I've been real high on Foreman all show, but I'll also say Miles Sanders. I think Miles Sanders has a good game this weekend from the running back position. And then I love the narrative. I'm not really generally not big on revenge games, but I love Hawkinson versus the Lions today. So he's going to be in my DFS lineup as well.
Man, Matt, I've been working with Bob for almost 5 years at this point. You know how you get a holiday bonus? You bring up tight end stuff when it's not required. You know what I mean?
Love it.
Like it's not required, and then you bring up a tight end stat.
If you throw in a kicker, forget about it.
I mean,
I added Jason Sanders before you even told me to. So Cameron Dicker is on the wire, Derek.
Wow.
No, too late, boys. 10 minutes. Don't do it. Do not do it to yourself. Stick and roll, baby. Bob? Streamers?
Yeah, Jared Goff, DJ Chark stack is a fun one this week, I would say. Running back, I'm going to say Lat Murray is a guy that I like in this game. I think that he's going to be leaned on a lot. It's not going to be pretty, but he'll get some work. And then tight end, I'm going to go Hunter Henry on Monday night against the Arizona defense. Got to like that as well. So those are my 4 kind of like lower owned guys that I would like to play.
I like it. Again, mine's kind of a cop out, but a couple weeks ago, I went with Devonta Smith at wide receiver, not an auto start necessarily. He should be, but he isn't. And according to percentages, he definitely is my guy. And at wide receiver, at running back, you guys know who I'm rolling with this year. I think it's a big, or this week, big bounce back. I want the Chargers to win that game, but I think it's a big bounce back for the running backs for the Dolphins. So choose either one of them. And then, man, are we really you're just gonna roll tight ends? I have to, because now I have to, be a part of the team and do all that. Give me a second. Let's go with Gerald Everett. Back after a couple weeks of injury. We got a full slate here, so the defenses can't focus on people. 6 targets, 5 catches, 80 yards last week against the lowly Raiders, and the Dolphins are not good against tight ends. So Gerald Everett for me as the stream of the week. And Sam Trigg coming in the 11.5 hour quickly. Devonta Foreman, Keenan Allen, PPR. Wow, that's kind of a smoker here last minute, Sam.
That is rough.
Matt? Got to have good options at running back and wide receiver. This is your flex, basically.
Yeah, this is a great flex.
Yeah, your team is probably in good shape.
And the fact that it's PPR really makes it hard.
Exactly.
Half or we all go Foreman. It's like shit.
So, yeah, thank you for coming to me first. I will go Deontay Foreman because I have the whole show. And I don't know. I right now, you just can't trust the Chargers to play a full quarter, much less a full game. Keenan Allen looked good the last time I saw him play on the television, but give me Foreman today.
Hokey smokes. Derek?
Because it's a PPR, I'm going Allen. I'm looking at the targets for Foreman and going back to week 7, 2 targets, 1 target, 3 targets, 1, 1, and 0. So he's got 8 targets on the season. Because it's a PPR, I've got to go Allen. If this was half PPR, I would probably lean Foreman, but he just doesn't get the targets. So, those extra points are going to help. I'll go Allen.
Bobby?
Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen as well. Good luck, Sam. Best of luck to everybody. We are going to sign off here. Everyone got their starts of the weekend. All right, we're going to get out of here, y'all. We got about 10 minutes until kickoff. Best of luck to everybody. Win and get in. Those of you floating at the top, make sure you stay strong. Do not just bench your guys and get all cocky about it. You never know what's going to happen if you throw a game and you lose. If you're locked into a first position, congratulations. Take the week off next week, but make sure to get the dub this week. Best of luck to everybody. Stay hungry. Enjoy the football. Should be a great game tonight. And before we get out of here, boys, last thoughts. We'll go around the circle here. Matt, you can go first.
I'm going to give you the real start of the week.
Whoa.
Are all 3 of you sitting down?
I am now. Yep.
Russell Wilson.
Why? And again, we have 7 minutes. Why do we have?
What is going on? We don't have time for this.
Go ahead. Why?
There is no reason other
than
sooner or later it's gonna pop. Latavius Murray's gonna rush for 3.3 yards a carry.
Nice.
Well, between 3.3 and 3.8. And Russell Wilson's going to have to throw. And sooner or later, in some weird 2022 fantasy football season, it's going to pop. It's going to be this week. He goes, you ready? 270 and 3.
270 and 3. Okay. 3 picks.
With
That's not that bad.
Cortland Sutton. We're just going for it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
I dig it.
By the way,
Derek Platt.
It doesn't matter with Russ. He's that good.
Yeah, he is very good. That's true. 2012, he was very good.
Yeah. Ask the Seahawks fans. He's that good.
Yeah. Go Ducks. Big game in the Rose Bowl. Derek, go ahead.
Wow. How do I follow that up?
You don't. None of us do.
Yeah. So no one's mentioned him today. I think Justin Herbert puts himself back on the map.
Oh,
as
that.
a fantasy upper tier quarterback.
Right to my heart. Love it. Bob?
I don't know. At this point, what is something that I need really bad this week? I need Tony Jones to play really well. I don't really have any thoughts behind that, except I'll say this. I think Isaiah Pacheco, either gets 100 yards or scores a touchdown this week, and he's a solid RB2 because I got a lot of slacks. I'm going all in on Isaiah Pacheco this week.
And Sky's going to go Isaiah McKenzie. It's been a great show, everybody. Let's sign off.
Yeah, my Isaiah McKenzie over Justin Jefferson pretty easily for me this week. Feeling good about that against the Jets. So best of luck to everybody. Enjoy your football. Enjoy the game tonight. And go Herbert.
Let Russ cook.
Oh, my God. Cook what? I mean, just nothing to – there's nothing to cook. Like,
just end the show. End the show. Just hit the end button. It's over.
Okay. All right, everybody. All right, see ya.
Bye.